to take advantage of technology that we have. So today is the 11th day of November. It's a very memorable time in my family because this month, many years ago, my wife was born. This month, many years ago, our son was born. And that is why I go broke every November. But it's okay to be with all of us, all over Accra and everywhere in Ghana. I did ask if I could take permission to maybe share the link with a few people, which I did. So if you see people hopping in, know that they came in from Lagos somewhere. So I just placed it on our campus regions site, WhatsApp, so that if anybody's available at this time, they can just hop in and enjoy themselves. So thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for putting this together. It's not every day that I get to be invited to come and speak on something like this. So when I was contacted, I was really excited. I was really excited because this topic falls under those topics that people talk about. They think about it, they whisper it in a corner, but they hardly want to bring it up to the open. So thank you so much for your courage in bringing this up, in not burying your head in the sand like many people today will do. We know what is eating us up, and yet we don't want to address it. So being able to address something like this, it's commendable. And that is that's why I was so excited to say yes. Much more, I would have been able to come join you guys in Accra, Ghana. I actually wanted to, but I'll be doing a lot of travels, traveling this year. October was the only month I didn't travel out of the country. I mean, talk about, be it Israel, Palestine, India, Abidjan, Togo, Benin Republic, and I've been doing lots of classes online, Tanzania, Uganda, the Philippines. So it's such a joy to just teach and encourage many people all over the world. So today we're looking at addiction. Like I said, if you are joining on your device, you might want to mute at this time, or we can have the host be our usher. I always call them ushers, online ushers. So please make sure everybody is seated, everybody's calm, and there are very little disturbance. So for those of you who are huddled together, I would like to encourage you to keep your Bibles open, keep your notepad open. Maybe there's something today that I will say that will meet your fancy, or that will trigger something in you. So, and I also might make it a bit interactive by asking some questions if that will fly. But before we jump in further, let's go to God in prayer as we commit this time. I know we prayed, but I just want to commit myself especially to God in prayer as we do this. Holy God, who is in heaven, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us the ability to be connected the way we are. Thank you for the power of technology. And we do know that your own connection is even bigger, higher than ours. You are the God who covers the whole universe. You are the God who is mighty in power, in understanding. Yet, you desire to have a relationship with us personally. Thank you for being so kind to us. Thank you for being so considerate. Thank you that even as we are up right now, in some part of the world, people are sleeping. In some part, people are just waking up. And yet you see all of us at the same time. You observe all of us at the same time, because time does not exist with you. Father, even as we spend this few moments together, I pray, God Almighty, that what we'll be planting as seeds today will truly grow, and many people will be blessed by it. I pray that you speak through me as an oracle of you, so that your people will hear your words, so that your word will do what it has always done, which is the transformation of men and women. Thank you again. It's your son's name we pray. Amen. All right, amen. And this is how we set the ball rolling at this time. So we're looking at addictions and awareness and recovery. And, just like my introduction says, the bio, I have some experience in this topic. And when I say experience, I've suffered addiction, and I have also been able to help people with addiction. So I am trained as a neuro-linguistic programmer. I also trained something they call EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique. And so I help people overcome addiction also in various forms. So today, we're not just going to looking at psychoanalysis or mental health in a circular sense. We're also going to be looking at the Bible, because first and foremost, I'm also a Bible teacher and an evangelist. So a biblical perspective of, for Christians today, especially for all of us who are here, whether you are married, whether you are single, there's always something for us to learn. So there is a huge prevalence of addiction problem in our world today. Addiction has always been there. And I know that when I say addiction, for example, what words come to your mind? Let's just do some ice breaking at this time. So what comes to mind when you hear the word addiction? If you're online, you can just go ahead and type it in. I will read it out to everyone. If you are huddled together at the Daces place, I believe, you might just want to shout out, how we hear you. What are the words? Let's see many words. What are the words that come to mind when you think addiction? When you think addiction, what words comes to mind? Those of you online, just type it in. Let me even look at the chat box to make sure everything is there. Okay, that's the chat box. Okay. All right, somebody says habits. Okay, habits. Keme, I believe, says habits. Olaninyo Buluwatife says drugs addiction. Okay, what is again? Anyone again? Those of you who are huddled together, you're also online, but you're just you are more cooperative than other people. What are the words that come to mind? You want to just scream it out loud, so that you don't have to come to the to the to the system to type it. Somebody said, all right, okay, habits and drug addiction. So let's hear somebody from Accra, Ghana. These comments have been coming from people in Nigeria. Okay, somebody said indiscipline. 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 What else again? What is again? I want to feel your definition, your understanding, or even your perception. When we talk about drug addiction, a lot can come to your mind. What is your perception? Let me ask the household of Mr. Jimmy Parry. At least that that is what the screen is named. Do you have anyone? What comes to your mind when you think addiction? Okay, Mr. Shield. All right, you say.
The reasonable passion for something.
The what version?
Irreasonable passion for something.
Okay. All right. Great. That's a long, sentence. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now the answers are coming now. You guys were waiting for somebody to break the ice. Okay. I have somebody said craving. Okay. Craving. Somebody said addiction is a habit of doing something you have no self-control over. I like that. Something you do not have self-control over. Or could it be something that you refuse to control? Okay, all right. Somebody says it's enslavement. Someone said it's deep immersion. We're getting deeper at this time. Somebody says unable to resist. That's divine. Deity says something you are unable to resist. Brian says committed to something. When you're addicted, sometimes you can be addicted to love. There's a song, BB and CC Winers, Addicted to Love. So addiction is something that actually controls you in a way. Somebody says committed to something. Yes, that's very, very true. So let me ask a question. If you're online, you can answer by just putting on your electronic hand. If I'm looking at you from the Parry screen, put up your hand physically. And how many of you have experienced any form of addiction in your life? I'm going to start by putting up my hand because I have. How many of you have experienced any form of addiction in your life? All right, any form of addiction. Okay. Any form of addiction. Looks like all of us, right? Okay. Thank you. All right. So I'm putting up to the two hands because maybe I've experienced more than all of you. So I am doing that to let us know that we have to be vulnerable and open. It's not it's not that bad because it can get better. So when you look at it, the word addiction, by this question I just asked right now, that means amongst us here, we have people that have suffered, who have been able to resist certain things. We're going to go to that very soon. People have formed certain habits that are inimical to them. Remember, with addiction has to be something inimical. It's not, we're not using it in a positive term, we are using it in a negative term. It is somebody that formed a craving. Oh man, there was a time I had so much craving for sugar. I had craving for Coca-Cola every day with gala. And right now I can't remember the last time I bought one. I drank, I can't remember like popcorn, so I just addiction. But not just the addiction, but it was beginning to affect me in various ways. Obviously, it was affecting my health. I was, putting on too much weight, and it was also affecting my finances. So you can have addiction to anything whatsoever. So today we are looking at awareness, and I like the way you have structured the theme. So addictions, look at awareness, then recovery. So there, there should be something in between, but I guess it's okay the way it is. There has to be awareness. Is when you are aware. When we teach emotional intelligence, we'll teach it as just being aware, self-awareness of who you are, what you can do at various circumstances when triggered. Then you now study the people around you, who they are, how they operate, and know who triggers you, so that you'll be able to know how to navigate life without so much stress. And that is just emotional intelligence in a layman's language. It is know yourself and knowing people around you and knowing how to maneuver with minimal stress. So know thyself. It was Socrates that said, know yourself is the beginning of wisdom. So you have to know yourself, because if you don't know that you have you have tendency to be addicted to something, then you can never know if you're addicted or not. So you have to know yourself. You have to know, first of all, you have to know yourself. So knowing yourself is where we are going to start, right now, because there's a prevalence of addiction. I spent many years, and part of it, even when I was leading campus ministry, I had to help several people who were addicted to one substance or the other. I've helped people who were addicted to alcohol, anything you take in, people who have addicted to a lifestyle, which I'm going to talk to you at this time. So there is a way out, and the way out is easier when you are aware. So we're going to look at several types of addiction today, but I'm going to narrow it down to just four. I'm going to narrow it down to four, and I want you to listen carefully even as we go through this table. Just four. Number one is substance abuse. Substance abuse. Something you take in, either through your mouth, can be through your skin, or any other parts of your body. It's a substance. Now, the word abuse is from the word use. You use, but it's abnormally used. It's like if you use something often, that thing becomes useful, used to the full. If you use something less, it becomes useless. Okay, so that's just what they call the etymology of the word. So anything you use a lot, use it to the full, it becomes very useful. For example, my toothbrush is useful to me. My laptop is useful to me. My eyeglasses is useful because I use it a lot. So it becomes, and I cannot do without it, or I cannot operate successfully without it. So You'll find it very useful. 2 Timothy says the word of God is living and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It brings to divide it. That's the book of Hebrews. Then we talk about the word of God is useful, used to to the full. So the things you use every day becomes useful. Now, when you use them every day, if that thing becomes inimical to you, in other words, it begins to harm you, then it becomes something negative. So we're going to be looking at substance abuse. It could be perfume, believe it or not. It could be cream. It could be anything. Okay, it could be anything. Now, number 2, which is the most becoming very, very popular, that is taking over the world, is technology addiction. Substance abuse, technology addiction. Now, how many of you have suffered technology addiction before? Put up your hand. Technology addiction. All right. Yeah. And like every other addiction, it comes so subtle. I caught myself. I didn't know I was developing addiction until the COVID period, where the whole world is just glued to, and there's nothing wrong in having a phone. I have a phone, I have a laptop, I even have a tablet and every single thing. But where it became very concerning for me, and I've shared with so many people, there are times, many times, I'll wake up in the morning, I will not pray, I will read my Bible. The first thing I'll do is to take my phone, and I can be there for 2-3 hours. Or I'll take my phone to the bathroom and sit down and whatever there, and I'm there for 2 hours. And you're like, and you don't even know. Time just flies. I don't know, time just flies. So God helped me. I just caught myself. And I asked myself, what am I doing? What is this that I'm doing? And this is the point where we might have to mute some people. Thank you. All right, let's have our... Okay, thank you so much. All right, I will encourage our hosts to also have a handheld so they can quickly, which I'm sure you're probably doing that. So I'll tell myself, well, don't worry, I'll read my Bible afterwards, and I'll probably do. So after, but I was not taking note. I was taking like 2-3 hours. Then I said, oh, I'll read my Bible afterwards. But afterwards, even after that 3 hours, the desire to read the Bible begins to go down, because I'm reading stories about NSAS. I'm reading stories, that's the police, march against the police in Nigeria. I'm reading things about things that happen, whatever. And the last thing I was to go and read the Bible. That is when I knew I had a problem with that form of addiction. So, and I'm going to be sharing what I did, with you guys, especially with the cell phone revolution in our world. So, substance abuse 1, technology addiction 2, number 3, very dangerous equally, pornography. Pornography, P-O-R-N, pornography, and number 4, negative lifestyle. So those are the 4 I'm going to be dealing with today: substance abuse, technology addiction, pornography, and negative lifestyle. So if you're with me, let's just go straight and dive into the class deeper at this time. So we've been on the seashore. We're just throwing down the sea. Water is splashing our feet once in a while. Right now, we're going to take one step at a time. So addiction can manifest in various forms. And that was why when I asked, what word comes to your mind? Now, the second thing you need to ask, what is it that you can be addicted to? And we've used several words that describes how we feel or what we are when we're addicted. So it can manifest itself in various forms, and it has a way of affecting various individuals. It affects you in a way. It affects your family life in a way. It affects the community. So addiction starts with an individual, it spreads to a family or the close relation, then it goes to the community. For several years, I lived in an environment where sometimes when you open your window, what greets you is the interesting aroma of Indian hemp, also known as cannabis. Even though cannabis is outlawed in Nigeria, but everybody knows you can buy it almost everywhere. And growing up, because I never grew up, I didn't even know what cannabis, I didn't know the smell of cannabis. It was after I got married, you won't believe it, that my wife one time was like, oh, they are smoking Igbo. That's what we call it here. Igbo means bush, grass, grass. Oh, they are smoking Igbo. But I'm like, how does Igbo smell? But right now I can distinguish the smell of cannabis, from cigarettes and from other things. And so many of us have become in a way passive smokers. You're not active smokers. So it's just around the environment. You just keep early. So sometimes my wife will have to close the window when the wind blows from where they are selling it, and it comes to you. Now we're talking about abuse, and we're going to put a definition to it. But let us start from substance abuse. Substance abuse, in a layman term, can be defined as something that involves the misuse of substances. So it is not the use of those substances that is the problem, but is the misuse of those substances that actually causes the problem. Some of us, we know that cannabis has some use actually as a pain reliever. There is medicinal cannabis. They put it in drugs. And I know that some, many sisters, you don't know, but there are some certain hair cream that women use in Nigeria. They call it Indian hemp. You see this small grass inside it. They say it makes the hair grow, and there are people who have some certain medical condition, like Parkinson's disease, where they cannot stay still, where their body is vibrating, they are out of control. It's part of the medicine they give them in a controlled form, so they take it and it calms them down. So if you live long enough as a person, you will experience the ingestion of certain substance that you call hard drugs. Things like morphine. Morphine is hard drug, and whatever. So anything can be of use. Everything that God created can be useful in a positive way, and it can also be abused. Anything can be abused. Anything that is good can be abused. Water, drinking water is healthy, but when you put it under great pressure, that water can cut you. That water can cut a wall. That water can cut glass. That water can be used to kill if it is not controlled. And that is why we said substance abuse is the misuse of any substance. And it could be alcohol. It could be like hard drugs, what we call drugs, medicine. Or it could be other medicine they call prescription medicine. There is nothing that cannot be abused. The easiest way to die, maybe I shouldn't even be saying this. There's some very common across the counter medicine you can buy. I don't want to mention the name so that nobody will go. You're very, very common, very common. I can tell you how many you need to take, whatever, and you just die. It is useful, but there's a certain number you take, your kidney will pack up. It will kill you. So what is meant for good, if you abuse it, it can become bad. Even power, if it's abused, they say power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. There is when I was growing up, I didn't understand how they would say, if you are taking cough medicine, don't operate machinery. I didn't understand, but like, why? Growing up, and I found out that, cough medicine contains something that can make you drowsy. So when you take it, it just whatever. And many years ago in Nigeria, I don't know about Ghana, many young people now discovered that substance can also be used to get high. It is called codeine. And people will buy cartons of codeine. They'll mix it up. They'll serve it in party just to get high. And you can buy codeine anywhere. So that becomes drug abuse. So that drug can be something that's also that's meant to cure a cough, can also intoxicate you. And after a while, people now get addicted to it. So the addiction is not just taking something. Addiction is where your body tells you that you can't do without it. You know, some few years ago, there was a young chap, student in one of the schools, universities, colleges here in Nigeria, Lagos. I was studying the Bible with, and this guy, major problem was the drugs that that actually takes. Now, it's not cocaine, it's not heroin, but they are prescription drugs. He goes to a chemist down the road, he gives them money, sometimes up to 6,000 naira. That's a lot of money here in Nigeria. And they give it to him. The problem now is that he got so addicted to it that he had to go back to the chemist and say, give me something stronger. So when they started, he knew what the chemist was mixing for him, tablets, tramadol, all this, whatever. So at that point, I was studying with him. The guy said he doesn't even know exactly what they mix for him anymore. All he knows is that he just goes there and he takes higher drug. So this guy is studying arts in school. And he believes that he has convinced himself that unless he takes that, he will not be inspired. So he got to a point that unless he's high, he will not be inspired. And I told him, I said, do you know that I also studied arts in the same school, that he was. I have a first degree in arts. And I said, I graduated one of the best students in the entire school. I didn't have to take any substance. So at that point, what would is that they now rely upon chemical to make them feel in a certain way. Now, there are some natural chemical that God has given to all of you here. They are called the study of endocrinology. The endocrine glands are glands that are secreted straight into your body, passing through a bile duct. That's what I was taught in secondary school. And there's some that are secreted like oxytocin, and so many. There are some of them are feel good hormones in your body. When you are very excited, there's a hormone that is secreted and makes you very, there's some hormone that can make you take risk. So naturally, God has given us the ability to regulate. And so when we're looking at, the study of emotional intelligence, the first thing is self-awareness. When you know yourself, the second step is now self-regulation. If you know that there is frequency around you, maybe TV frequency, radio frequency, so your self-awareness is to know, because you now know, you are not able to now, let me fine-tune it. I know I'll get 96.9 Cool FM, 90 this from the 97 point this Rhythm FM. I can now regulate. Now, because I can regulate, I know how loud it is. I can also now control how what I'm regulating affects my community at large. And that's why you have to now be sensitive. How do I affect people around me? How does what I consider to be good affect? Now, it is no longer news, okay, that most, let me say Nigeria, most Nigerian, musician, take some substance. Why? In the studio. In fact, there was a time, not too long ago, some few years ago, I'm not going to mention any names. So somebody invited me to come and be an MC, a disciple, come and be an MC in an upscale birthday party. So the celebrant who just turned 40, a wife of a very influential man in Nigeria, influential banker in Nigeria. And so she said, she went to see all the people. So I went with disciple, all of us, we went there. So I was the MC, then there's a musician who was a rhythm and blues gospel pop musician who now became gospel musician. I used to love his he sings very well. So everybody was there, all the decorator, everywhere. The last guy to come there is about the most popular DJ in Nigeria, one of the most popular DJ in Nigeria. So he came. And again, I'm not showing him. So we're like, come on, man, you'll be keeping us waiting and blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, okay, sorry, whatever. Later on, he now said, actually, he was coming from the studio. And he said he wouldn't have come the time we called him because he was high. I was, what does it mean? Then he looked at this popular musician that is there, who is now a gospel musician. He now called and say, now what will they do when, whenever we're in the, studio. Now I just looked at him and just, shrugged off. Got that in his mind as his past life. So a lot of people believe that if you want to be creative, you have to be high. You have to whatever. And they actually get high. But unfortunately, what they are doing is that they are subjecting their natural creativity to chemicals. So what happens is that after a while, for them to feel, to be able to get to that, to activate their creativity portion, they have to induce a chemical into it. It's like if you can't sleep, God has given us the ability to sleep. If somebody is having insomnia, there are two ways that you can actually cure insomnia. You can cure it the natural way, or you can cure it the chemical way. As a life coach, an integrative life coach, I am trained in using natural remedies to actually solve. And that's why there's a difference between Eastern medicine and Western medicine. Eastern medicine is chiefly about energy. It's about energy, about balance of energy, about tranquility, about meditation, about nature and everything. But medicine, when it now came to the West wanted sharp. So the West rely heavily on chemicals. So there's a chemical for almost anything you want to do. I've known little children of 4-year-old, 3-year, 4, 5-year-old in America who are under medication. Oh, they are too hyper. They give them medication to actually calm them down. Oh, they are too this, their medication. Oh, yeah, too you pop. Somebody was telling me that whenever they are traveling long distance, they have to pop a pill so they can sleep. But me, I can sleep because I know how to put myself to sleep. And I can actually also put you guys to sleep here, but I'm not going to do it. I know what to do to put most of you guys to sleep. It's easier if I do with those of you who are seated in the room. But those who are online, if I went to sleep, then nobody was going to be there to wake you up. So there are natural ways to actually cure. You can cure even pain naturally. I can't remember the last time I took paracetamol. I grew up having migraine. I used to cry in the classroom, hold my head. I used to chew ice block. I used to put ice block in t-shirt and wrap around my. I used to put ice block in my eyes. It was that bad. But now I can't remember the last time I took. If I was so bad that when somebody needs pain reliever, it is me, they'll come. Emmanuel, do you have paracetamol? They'll come to me. I moved from paracetamol to Panadol Extra. And I will not even have the patient to swallow it. I chew it. At that point, I don't even feel the bitterness anymore. So after a while, I was addicted to any small thing. I'll just take it and chew. Any small thing I'll take it and chew. But after a while, I just have to stop it. And I began to now self-regulate. And I don't have it anymore. So I know when the stress is coming, I'll just drop everything I'm doing. If I need to remove my glasses and put my eyes on my eyes and just massage, I know kind of massage I will do. Blood will flow. I will tap. That's another technique. It's called the tapping. Technique. I will tap. It's like doing needleless acupuncture. So there are a lot of things you can do for yourself rather than taking drugs. I don't know what it means to let us take coffee so we can stay up night and read. The more I take, the more I sleep. And I love coffee. I have a pot of coffee here on my table, but I can take coffee right now and sleep immediately. I can sleep immediately. I love coffee, but it doesn't keep me awake because I have regulated myself. If I need to sleep, I will sleep. So I also told myself there are certain things I will not do because I have the control to do it or not, to do it. So today, let me ask you, what are you depending on? What are you misusing? Is it alcohol? Is it some form of drug? Is it even a prescription medication? It would lead you now to dependency, to permanent dependency. There's something that we have, some exercise have been carried out, and I've also, done some of those. There's something called the, let me look for the word again. It's actually an effect. It's an, oh man, can somebody help me out? What is that chalk that doctors will give you to take that has no chemicals in it, but it will make you well? It doesn't just flew from my mind right now. Placebo. Okay, okay, I remember it now. Placebo effects. Now, some of you don't know. Maybe you must have taken placebo before, but you won't know. Some people come and say, oh, doctor, he's doing me like this. Give me tablet, give me medication, whatever. Doctor will say, no, just calm down. You are okay. Whatever, no, I must take. So doctors will give them that, tablet, put it in a pack, tell them, take this one twice a day. Make sure you take it twice a day, or twice a day, or this one three times a day, and you're going to be fine, whatever. And they will take it and they will be fine. In fact, from the first time they take it, boom, they're okay. But unknown to them, the doctor will never tell them. Unknown to them, there is nothing in that. It's just chalk. If it's a tablet, it's chalk. If it's a capsule, it's just flour. Sometimes it's rice flour. Sometimes it's baking flour, like there. But when you take it, your mind has already conditioned your body to say, when this tablet hits my tongue and my tummy, my body is going to be well. So what your body does, your body sends out signal. Your mind, your subconscious mind sends out signal to your body, and your body begins to align itself. So it is not the effect of the chemical, because there's no chemical in what you just took, but it's actually your mind. And that is where your mind is very, very important. The WHO define health, not the absence of infirmity. It's not that, oh, I'm not sick. You can be whole and still not be healthy. But it's the state of the physical, emotional, mental, psychological, and spiritual well-being of your body. So even though you might not have any pain or whatever, but mentally you are not well, so you are not healthy. So I will drop that quickly, and we're going down to 4 segments. The number 2 is technology addiction. Now, technology addiction is characterized by excessive use of things like smartphone, social media, online gaming, digital platforms, and impacts your daily life, impacts your relationship. We're living in a world of TikTok. We're living a lot of Facebook. I mean, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. I'm on most of the major something. But there was a time in my life, I thought that I was spending too much unaccounted for time. And all of us know what I mean. It's very addictive. So, it is called doom scrolling. You're just scrolling. You're not looking for anything. You're not making a research. There's nothing particular. You're just looking for some entertainment, and you can be doing it for 3, 4 hours, 5 hours. People are just going. If they don't say anything now they have these videos. Thanks to TikTok. Now Facebook have their own shots. YouTube have their own shots. You know what that means? Our attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter by the day. Now, I don't know some of you who are you're younger here. I used to tell my kids, there was a time where we drove into the University of Lagos, and we were going through the post office, and there was this metal pillar looking thing there, and I told them that was our email many years ago. They were like, what's that? I said, that metal piece, that iron bar was our email. It is anti-rust, whatever. I said, we'll write letter, we'll take time, and that's why people older have better handwriting. Most people older have better handwriting than your people, because you guys don't learn how to write. So we'll write letter, we'll construct our English, we'll put it together, put it in an envelope, then lick the envelope, cover it, then buy a postage stamp, lick it, stamp it, address it very well. You will now walk to the postal agency closest to you, or the post office. You now drop it in there. And you see, I was doing my youth service in a place called Borno State in Nigeria. That's the farthest distance in virtually any corner from Lagos to Borno State. They will send me a letter. It will take 6 months there to get there. And we will be patient. So because of the advent of technology, we have things that just want to go fast. Many of us might not know what it means to take your time, make a menu list or what you want to cook, then make what you want to buy, then take yourself to the market, then haggle through the prices, buy your beef, buy your vegetables, buy your tomatoes, get bumped by somebody, quarrel with someone, become more emotional intelligent, sweat a lot, come back, and enter the bus or the keke, like they call it here in Nigeria, tricycle, come back home, rest a little bit, start washing things, start cutting up things, start boiling this, start frying this, because you want to eat. That was the day. But today, what do? Jumia food. We just swipe. Boom. And in 30 minutes, somebody is at our gate, say, "Okay, you order food?" Yes, I order, whatever. And that is the life. Think about it. Noodles is the most popular food on campuses. The most popular food when I was on campus I will tell you the nickname of that food is called Oh God. That was the most popular food when it's called Oh God. Do you know what Oh God is? Beans. You guys call it red. Beans. Because there's some particular beans that if God created them to punish man, that they will never get done. So and those are the cheapest one. So we'll buy them and we'll start boiling. When you open the pot, oh God, you put it again. You're going to come back, oh God. So we are calling it oh God. But there's something about preparing your own food. It teaches you patience. It teaches you understanding. Now, some of you might think this is crazy, but it's true. It teaches you understanding. It teaches you there are ways to do things. It teaches you to be alert, because if you sleep, the thing will burn or whatever. It teaches you to care for things, to care for your pots, to care for your little stove, to care for the smoke, whatever. It teaches you so many things. But right now, we just place those orders and food are pre-packed. So technology, here are the things that I had to put, before myself. I mean, as a minister, my phone rings off the hook. Even today, there are so many phone calls. I wake up 4:30 every day. 4:30, I'm up, whatever. I start seeing missed call. Somebody was calling me like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So what I've told myself, I said, there are certain times I will not take my phone. I will not pick my call. If you call me, I'm not going to pick. I will not pick my call when I'm driving, even if I have hands-free. Many times, if I forget my phone at home and I just step down into the car, I almost never go back to go and collect my phone back. Several times people have accused me, oh, Emmanuel, I've been calling you, you're not returning your call, blah, 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 blah. Before I became emotionally intelligent, I used to get upset. I was like, why are you calling me, blah, blah, blah. And I say, make no verse. So do you know that whenever you call, when you call, have you assumed that maybe I'm driving? Have you assumed that I'm in a meeting? Have you assumed that I'm counseling someone? Have you assumed that I'm talking with somebody? Have you assumed that whatever, if I'm with you, will you appreciate it if I'm picking call? Will I say no? But in my non-emotional intelligence way, I will say, bro, am I your secretary? Picking your call. No, don't answer someone that way. But because people think as long as it's called a cell phone, you are bound to pick it immediately. In fact, the first ring is the only ring. What you pick it up. Sometimes people have lost their life because they are picking calls. And sometimes we become so glued, so attached to our phone. So even till now, my phone has most of the times have been on silence for over 6 years. Now, if a few times I've actually put to turn it on to ring, but majority of that for the past 6 years, like 90% of the time, my phone have been on silent mode. I will tell people, if I see your missed call, I'll call you back, but I am not going to be there looking at my phone, hoping that somebody will call me. So that is very, very important. And I'm going to be sharing practical ways today where we can actually beat this addiction, because we're looking at awareness and recovery. 2 months ago, I was invited to Lome, to come and preach in a retreat, and it was very interesting, unique experience. We went up country after Lome. We drove some, 1 hour or plus, up in a place called Balima, actually very, very close to Ghana, Balima. So the institute that we stayed in, the Wi-Fi didn't work. And because I left and I didn't roam my phone to have, internet facility. For like a week, I didn't have internet. I had an option for someone to share their hotspot with me. I said, no, I didn't share hotspot with anyone. Throughout I was there. I didn't want to, I said, I am here. I'm going to be here. I'm not going to be distracted. That is called technological detox. To detox. People today make money by helping people to detox. They take them to camp and they collect all their phones. The only person that will have a phone will be the person who's organizing the detoxification. And it's just a case of they need to call a doctor, and they only hold a regular phone, not a cellular phone. And so people will learn to stay around the campfire in the night, to talk to one another, to even observe one another. I was in a university 2 weeks ago in a place called Babcock. Babcock University, and I was there, I was observing. Virtually everyone that was working, and it's a private university, so it's safe to walk around wherever. All of them had their head like this, and they're walking. Everybody. And I tell people on campus, there are two professions that will probably make a lot of money in the next, coming next few years. One is opticians are going to make a lot of money. Then physiotherapists are going to make a lot of money because people are going to have a lot of joints issue, neck issue, because the size of your head, the weight, when it actually drops, this is what takes it. People are going to have a lot of lumbar issues. They're going to have a lot of thumb issues. They're going to have a lot of eye issues. And a lot of people are going to die because they are going to fall into pits. They are going to be run over by train and whatever. And we've seen that happen even here in Nigeria because the attention span is divided between you and what you are doing. Okay, so the third one, that used to be like a taboo when our people like us were growing up, but right now, believe it or not, it's so prevalent right now, is pornography. When I was growing, I remember the first time I saw a pornographic magazine. That was probably like 1982, 81, 82. There was someone, I can't remember how it happened. What I know is that, we are all young, teenagers and everything. And we're running around. Someone would say, come and see, come and see, come and see. I was like, what is that? Whatever. So I think somebody got it from somebody's uncle in somebody's house, in whatever. That was the first time I was going to see pornographic match. And people were running. You cannot find it anywhere. I remember the first time I heard somebody play a pornographic, film. I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. It was my roommate, Randy. That's the guy's name. His guy name. They call him, Randy. And he came and said, oh boy, there's a mojo. I thought, what's mojo? Everybody started laughing. I was the only one who didn't know what a mojo was. I was a disciple, even there, but I was very religious. I didn't know what they call mojo. Those were not the days of whatever. So, but the guy had film, the film, whatever, the projector film, and they will plug it into a projector and it will roll on the wall. So they now took it to the next room and they were charging people like 10 kobo or whatever to come and watch mojo. The third time I would know that some of these things existed was in the late 90s. Okay, late 90s. The team ministry in Lagos, we are going to have a conference, teens camp, and they needed a particular song. That one, the thing was, I Know I Can. So they wanted to get this rap song, I Know I Can, be what I want to be. So they did not that today that we can download anything online. There was no download of music in that time. But I told them, okay, I know a record store, Samako Record, in a place called Ojuelegba. As if I go there, they have record. I've known them since I was in primary school. I mean, those guys, whatever. So when I got in there, and I found out that Samako has actually 2 layers. When you enter the first store, you have the phonograph, that's where you used to go and dub music. But there's another layer inside. I thought it was an office. It's another music. That is where pornographic materials were. You see, that was how people hid pornographic material. But today, it's not that way anymore. You can have it at the comfort of your home. You can have it while you're walking. You can have it anywhere. And it is very, very dangerous. So, pornography addiction involves the compulsive consumption, not just like, I'm not talking about, okay, you're watching a movie and somebody is kissing somebody or whatever, which just come, but this is you are longing to, that is what you want to feed on. So it is not the compulsive consumption of explicit sexual content. And this thing eventually will lead you to negative consequences in your relationship, one, and your mental health. Unfortunately, I dare say, unfortunately, many people don't realize it until it is too late. Many people don't realize it until it is too late. The book of Job, Job said he has made a covenant with his eyes not to look at a woman lustfully. As a young disciple, this is what I was taught, and there was no scriptural backing for it, but I believe it. I believed it, and I still believe it. The guy who was discipling me said, Emmanuel, the first look is unavoidable, inevitable, because your eyes are open, you see things. But you see, but he told me that the second look is where sin begins to count. And I said, wow. And I began to work on it. I'm not going to have a second look. I'm not going to have a second look. I'm not going to have a second look. And I must tell you, 30 years plus, as a disciple, I can hardly remember. I can't, me, a second look, I don't do it. Now, there is consequences to that one too. My wife and I, we talk about it when we laugh. What that happens is that I hardly notice women, what they're wearing, what they look like. I don't, because I'm not going to look. So when my wife, for example, says, "Oh, did you see what she was wearing?" I said, "No, I didn't see." What she was wearing? I said, "I didn't see." If the only way is if I consciously say, "Okay, I want to observe whatever," but because of that, I would not take a second look. And this is the point where we ask George King to mute his microphone. Thank you. So it starts, and you'll see that you can actually conquer. It becomes easier, just like anything in life, drunkenness, anything in life, you can start. But for me, it was gradual, and you're able to, to overcome. Now, we've not even begun to give you the ways to go. The fourth one is negative lifestyle habits. And just like many of you here, I would say are falling into that also. Negative lifestyle habits. Now, negative lifestyle habits will include behaviors. And you might think, oh, is that one addiction? Yeah. It might include behaviors like overeating. Amen. Overeating. Not because you are really hungry. Some people call it grazing, like a cow or goat will graze. They're just grazing. Some people have a nice word they call you are just munching or something. There's another word they call it nibbling. I'm just nibbling. But that person is overeating and is beginning to affect that person's lifestyle. So overeating is one. Lack of exercise. Can you imagine? When many of us today bury ourselves in work, bury whatever, you hardly have exercise. You don't even move around. Now because I work, remotely most of the time. My family knows. I have I'm on my corner here, so I sit on a chair that can go back and forth as whatever. Then every now and then, oops, I think I disconnected my lights. Every now and then, I stand up. I make it easy. I always stand up. Excuse me, I'm knocking everything over now. Oops. Okay. Oh boy, I think I went too far back. Oops, sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm just knocking all my wires, all my cables. All right. So my light is back. Hopefully. All right. Okay. So that's that. So I always stand up. So this is what I do for some of you work. So my table is arm's length, really. My table is here, arm's length. I can move back. Then I have a drawer that comes, I can push back like I'm doing now. So I have enough room to stand, to go back. So what I do is that I always move around. If I know I'm going to walk late into the night, which I do a lot of times, I pick up things like washing clothes. Something that'll make me get up. In the morning, even when I'm walking, I've done that today or yesterday, till today, I will sweep around. I get up, I just take my brush, I sweep. Something to make me walk around. Where I used to live, I used to wake up in the morning, I go to the next campus beside me, I go jog around, I just move right now. I was showing some disciples the distance I walk. We're like, it's so far. I said, no, it's not far from Anthony. Walk to Oroshoki, then go around and come back again. It's just exercise so that you can remain young, so that your body can be firm, so that you can be active. But unfortunately, these days, there's so many sedentary lifestyle people, so much sedentary lifestyle. From one laptop to one handheld to one couch, you are entering the bus, you are entering an Uber. People don't even exercise anymore. So negative lifestyle habits, overeating, lack of exercise, poor sleep patterns. trying to have a nap. I know, because the way our world is going. Sometimes I'll just tell people that I'll have appointments. I'll just say, man, I think I need to go and have a nap. Because sometimes we tell ourselves that if we don't work hard, work. Sometimes I just say to myself, I'm not going to see anybody. I just want to go and sleep 1-2 hours. I want to go and I'll just go and lie. If I'm not, I'll just lie down flat with your back on the ground. Lie down flat and just breathe in. Put your hand by your side and just relax. So there's so much negative, pattern, and all these habits, they contribute to our physical and mental health. They affect our relationships. For example, let's talk a little about pornography. People that think pornography is fun, whatever. The more people engage in pornography, sorry, I actually gathered, excuse me, a line that shouldn't be under my chair is actually under my chair. So each time I move, it's actually poo-poos. Okay, that should be okay. So many times people think it will not happen. Now there's an experiment I used to conduct on campus. Let me see. I usually take like a tape. I use masking tape. Masking tape. You take and you guys can also do it. Anytime. And this is not masking. This is just a whatever tape, electrical tape. So what I do, I take those tape and I pin at the back of students. I put it at their back. I say, okay, go around fellowship as you're talking. Remove it from you. Where's this? You remove it from you and put it on somebody else. Then go around fellowship again. That person will remove it again, put it whatever. After a while, what will you notice in that masking tape? The binder begins to go. Doesn't hold. So when people have sexual relationship with someone, there is a chemical. There's a chemical in your brain, an attachment chemical that is released. And God made me that chemical so that man and woman can bind together. And so when you begin to release that chemical to different people, after a while, you will not be able to have attraction anymore. And even worse, like there was a student that was studying the Bible in University of Lagos. He's so much into pornography that he was like, what's it to get married? He said, there's no need to get married. He sees women only as sex objects. And the same thing too goes in vice versa, where you have that chemical, let's say, excuse me, each time you come home, a chemical releases in your mind. And that chemical binds you with your house. Say, oh, I'm at home. Oh, I'm home. You are happy. And whenever you come home, chemical is released. After a while, you love to come back home. When you come back home, you'll be happy to come back home. But can you imagine if every day you sleep at different places? You can sleep in the hotel today, sleep in the whatever tomorrow, sleep whatever. So after a while, you don't have any sense of home anymore. You don't have any sense of home. And so people who engage in pornography and they keep releasing those chemicals to faceless people they don't know, whatever, when they get married, they cannot stay with their partner. They don't have a binder anymore. And that is the problem that you can bring to yourself without knowing. You might say, oh, I'm not sleeping around. But even just viewing, people masturbate. Masturbation is defined as having sex with yourself. Whether you are a man or a woman, masturbation is simply defined as having sex with yourself. People say, oh, they masturbate until they release. So you keep doing that in the bathroom, doing that when you're sleeping, doing that somewhere other place, and every single whatever. And so you get the pleasure when you quote release. So after a while, when you get married, that thing will not be there anymore. The joy will not be there anymore. Because it's not about intimacy with someone. It's not about sharing quality time with someone. It's all about, let me just be selfish. Let me just be releasing. Now, another thing that can happen again is that pornography will give you a very false and distorted sense of reality and relationship. When people view pornographic materials or they watch pornographic matter, they see all kinds of things. They call it, oh, this is my fantasy. They see things that those people are either acting up or they are paid to do whatever there, and that is going to be what they demand for one another. Even some very unnatural things, that are done. Some unnatural things, that are done. So when that person now gets married, tendency for that person to now begin to expect the same thing from his or her spouse. Oh, this is what I like. This is what they do. Whether good or bad, though, I don't know. Whatever. And it now begins to put pressure. If the spouse cannot, quote, measure up, you will not get disappointed. There will not be a sense of disappointment. There will not be a sense of regret. There will not be whatever. So what should have been good will not become evil. And guess what? The mind will not go, oh, let me go and meet somebody who can do it. Because already you have triggered yourself in the wrong way. What did the mother of a wise woman tell this, the child? In Songs of Songs, he said, I plead with you, I beg you by the everything of Jerusalem, whatever. I said, do not arouse love until it is so desired. Don't arouse love. Don't start what you cannot finish. Do not arouse love until it is so desired. There is time for everything. People will say, oh, if I don't have sex, I go die, go die, go die. Yeah, you go die. So now you are married and you are not dead. You think, oh, you'll be having sex from morning till night or whatever, so like, do you have a terminal disease? Sometimes, sin makes you feel that you're going to die today. If you don't do this, you will die. The same thing happens to you when people steal, when people lie, whatever. The same thing happened with Esau. I ask you, have you ever seen anybody who died because they didn't eat in one day? It's impossible, because you didn't eat one day, you will die. Haba. Which kind, hunger be that one? But when somebody is not thinking, they will say, oh, I will die. Can you imagine? You won't think straight. Esau's father was Isaac. Esau was the favorite of Isaac. Isaac was the richest man in the whole of that vicinity. Isaac is the son of Abraham. That means Isaac has cattle, sheep, excuse me, servants. Do you know how many servants that Esau could have called and say, hey, oh yeah, what do you guys have there? You have beans and bread. Oh yeah, bring out, I want to chop. Or you have pepper soup, I want to chop. But because he was blinded, it was what his brother had that he wanted to eat. And his brother used it against him. He said, promise you give me your birthright. What did he say? He said, what good is the birthright to me if I'm dead? And at that point, Esau sold his birthright for just a bowl of stew, vegetable soup, lentil stew. He sold everything his whole life. So today I ask you, are there portions of your life you are mortgaging? When I was talking about selling it, maybe you are mortgaging, or you've mortgaged, or maybe you've sold for temporal fulfillment, for temporal high, for temporal success. It becomes an addiction. So from destroying people's relationship, it also affects your mental health. You cannot think straight. It increases anxiety. It also increases depression. Because studies have shown that people who are high on pornography consumption, they have an increased level of anxiety and depression. It's not from me. It's a study that was carried out all over. Because their heart is always ready. Do you know what it means to put your heartbeat high unnecessarily? Unnecessarily. To put pressure, mental pressure on yourself unnecessarily. It's equal to smoking some hard stuff. Then eventually impacts your sexual functioning. People like that who have all their life, they've been into pornography to make them feel good, whether they are men or women. When they eventually now get married, like they say in Nigeria, they are not able to do. They can't do. They're able to do because they've been shooting blank. They've been shooting blank for years, whatever. So right now, their gun is weak. They cannot do anymore. And some people say, oh, I cannot be satisfied anymore. No, because you have got yourself to a place that is very unnatural. You have got a place that is very unnatural. I will pause here to read to us a few Bible passages. Okay, I have made references to some Bible passages, but let me read Proverbs chapter 23, verse 29. The first time I saw this proverb was 1992. It was read to me by, I think, somebody who was in a discipling group or whatever. So we are going to talk about substance abuse. Let's read just an example of substance abuse. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 29. The Bible asks a question. Who has woes? What is a woes? Problem. Who has woes? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaint? Who has needless bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? You see all those questions? 6 questions that were asked, referring to one individual. Who has woes? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaint? Who has needless bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? The Bible gives an answer. I said, those who linger over wine. Not the people who drink wine, who linger. That is their bus stop. That is where you find them 24/7. Say, those who linger over wine, who go to sample bowls of mixed wine. The Bible says, do not gaze at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in a cup, when it goes down smoothly. Why? In the end, it bites like a snake and poisons like a viper. Now, the comical part is from verse 33. He said, your eyes will see strange things, and your mind will see confusing things. You'll be like one sleeping on the high sea, lying on top of the ridges. They hit me, you will say, but I'm not hurt. They beat me, but I do not feel it. When will you wake up? Time to go and find another drink. This is the story of a drunk. Now, if you look at through the Bible, you will never find one scripture that says, thou shalt not drink. You find, in fact, there are lots of passages that actually encourages, promotes drinking. But what the Bible talks against was drunkenness. So why is drunkenness dangerous? Because drunkenness removes or distorts what God has given you and I. That's the ability to think rational, the ability to think logical. When you are drunk, it blots that part of your brain that reasons right here. It blots that part of your brain of reasoning. And that's why someone who's drunk can be going on the car, driving at 100 and something kilometers per hour. He won't like it, don't feel it. It's okay. So someone who's drunk, they'll be honey for him to leave the road, pom, pom, pom. You'll be dancing, thinking it's music. Drunkenness gives you 3 stages when you're drunk. The first stage is you become a lion. When it begins to set in, you are very proud. You begin to say boast things. You know who I am? I believe. You begin to be boastful. Then from being boastful, the first animal is a lion. Second animal is a monkey. In that case, you don't begin to do funny things. Begin to laugh when nobody's cracking joke. Begin to laugh when nobody's tickling you. begin to move around. Then finally, it turns you to a pig. You now go on now. You can eat things. You can vomit. You can whatever. That is what it does for you. So it takes away self-control. And one of the gifts and the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. You are not able to control yourself. And if you're able to go, you can do people that, there's a popular, actress in Nigeria who she was drunk, she was driving late in the night, and she hit somebody, and the person died. It was a doctor. The person died. Ibinabo. Some of you must have heard about Nollywood Ibinabo. She went to jail, because she was not in her right mind. People out of drunkenness have got to go and take gun, shoot somebody or whatever because they are drunk policemen. It removes your will. And if somebody can remove your will, then you're no longer in control. God said, no, don't do it. Anything that will take away your willpower, your power to say no, that free will that God has given to you, it now becomes sin. I'll share another scripture with us. So addiction promises you something good. Is there something today that you've been told that it's not good for you? It's not healthy for you. Maybe it's something you eat. Maybe it's something you drink. Maybe it's something you watch. Maybe it's somewhere you go to. But it's going to affect you in the end. But you are looking at the enjoyment. In 2 Peter chapter 2, in verse 19, it sounds like what 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 19, it sounds like something that addiction promises us. In verse 19, it says, they promise them freedom. Don't worry, if you smoke, you're going to be free. Everything all your problems will go away. They promise them freedom while they themselves are slaves to depravity. One of the most brightest star Nigeria has produced in the music industry, and there are many of them, especially when reggae in the 80s, in the late 80s and early late 80s to early 90s or so, reggae was the in thing in Nigeria. The Mandators, Oris Wiliki, Raskimono, all of those guys. One of the brightest, if not the brightest, was Majek Odumi Fashake, also known as Majek Fashek. He died during the COVID period, not because of COVID-19, was very old, and he died miserable because drug abuse wrecked his life. Drug abuse wrecked his life. Where he has gone to rehab, people are paid for rehab, he always relapsed. Who could ever believe that someone like that cannot die a pauper? So they promised them freedom while they themselves are enslaved to depravity. Why is he saying that? Say, for a man, and I want you to memorize that, for a man is a slave to whatever has mastered him. And that was why God told Cain, hey, Cain, I can see you. Sin is crouching at your door, but you must master sin. Don't let sin master you. You must know where sin is coming from. Know how to deal with sin. Know how to dodge it. He said, for a man is a slave to whatever that has mastered him. If he has escaped, if they have escaped the corruption of the world by knowing our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I get entangled in it and overcome. The Bible says that they are worse off at the end than they were at the beginning. It would have been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than to have known it and then to turn their back on the sacred command that was passed on to them. And the Bible uses analogy of a dog and a pig. He said, of them, the proverb are true. A dog returning to his vomit, and a soul that is washed and goes back to the mud. So today, do you need cleansing? Today, from a habit, from something that is already eating you down? Is it pornography? Is it technology? Maybe you could do better in school if you have some discipline over pornography. Maybe you'll be much more open, because pornography is eating you up. You are carrying guilt that you shouldn't be carrying. When people are talking, you are feeling bad. When people are preaching, you are feeling bad. Today is a day of salvation. I've been studying the book of Hebrews for the past few weeks. The Bible says today, if you hear his words, do not harden your heart. You can get help. If you need to call me up, you can call me up. Most of you have my phone number anyway. Call me up. I can help you. Just like I too was helped. So it will impact your relationship. It will impact your mental health. It will impact your sexual functioning. Mental health is becoming a huge thing in our society. And I just say many of us have mental health issues. A few years ago, who could have believed that I had to check myself in to a psychologist to actually help? Because I was suffering depression. I didn't even know what depression was. I was depressed. I was suffering depression, and I was going through trauma until somebody advised me, oh, why don't you whatever? And I paid a lot of money. And that was actually where my journey of becoming a practitioner of this began, because I got help now. And before I did, I got certifications. I was like, wow, if this thing can help me, a lot of people too can be helped. let's look at our environment. I teach people that God created us Trinity. You are three. You are body, you are soul, and you are spirit. But that body, soul, and spirit has to have an environment. So you must also, for your mental health, you need to watch out. What are you thinking about? What I think that consume me. Personally, I stopped watching horror films like maybe 15 years ago or more than 15 years ago. That used to be my favorite movie when I was growing up. I love horror. Right now, I can't even stand it. I can't stand horror. Anything that's going to mess my mind up. Any senseless killing, they just cutting people up. That's all these videos that fly around, people being caught or shot, or even this Gaza war. I don't want to see anything, at least to news, but I don't want to have any. My heart can't take it anymore. And I want to be at peace. I don't want any sickness or this to come on me. That's why I can hold my hand like this and I can talk for 1 hour and my hand will not shake. And I tell people that every time. I can hold my hand up, my hand will not shake. I do not have high blood pressure. I don't whatever. I don't want to. Anything that is going to be inimical to me, I want to stay away from. The Bible calls, that one abstinence. Bible says you can abstain from anything that can contaminate both body, your soul, your spirit. What is it that is contaminating you today? Laziness can be a form of addiction. Everybody has 24 hours. But when you're supposed to be sleeping, that is when TikTok is calling you. When you're supposed to be sleeping or reading your book, that's when assignment, that's when Facebook Short is calling you. Do you know what I tell myself? I tell myself, no matter the movie that they release in this world, whether in Nigeria or whether in America, I can always get them free online anytime. So I can't remember the last time I played. I'm not saying to go to cinema is wrong, whatever. I can't remember the last time I paid to go to cinema. 2 reasons. One, because I always sleep in cinema. I've slept in cinema in America. I've slept in cinema in South Africa. I've slept in cinema anywhere in Nigeria, even in the house I sleep, because I want to be at peace. So I say, why waste money to go and pay when I will sleep off? If you just wait just 3 weeks to 1 month, you are going to see that movie online. And I have so many movies I have downloaded. I've not even watched 5% of them. I say they will wait for me. When the time comes, when I'm on vacation or I'm chilling out, but I'm not going to have something important doing, and I'll now be going to watch a movie. Even if it's news, the news are mostly bad news anyway, and they're always repeating it. CNN repeating the news. I will catch it at night. So many years ago, I began watching CNN only at night. By night, I will catch all the news from morning till night. Why am I going to sit down there waiting for news to happen? Those guys are doing their job, making their money. I also need to have a life. So ask yourself today, if you monetize time, how much is your 1 hour worth? How much is your 1 hour worth? If I were to pay you per hour, every hour you lose, how much is your worth? Some of you will be broke. So ask yourself, do you have negative environmental influence? Many people today in this generation, they are going to end up with stress. Stress will be one of the biggest killers, because people can't cope, because you are not sleeping well, you are not eating well, you are not exercising, you are not resting, whatever. You are burning out too fast, like a candle in the wind. Now, one of the things I do in the house is aromatherapy. I have this aroma stand where I'll pour some oil, then I'll put small candle, this tiny candle under it, and you burn it, and the whole house will smell real nice and whatever. I discovered that when I put the candle there and I turn it to face the wall, that tiny candle, believe it or not, can actually last as long as 6 hours. But when I expose that candle to blowing whatever, it burns faster. A lot of us today are burning fast. So addiction can develop biologically. Some babies are born drunk because the blood they tell if you're pregnant, do not smoke, do not do it. Some of them are already born addicted. And they can be physiological, there can be social factors, and there's a huge role that stress and coping mechanism play. Biologically, psychologically, socially, there's stress will drive people to be addicted. So people, when they're addicted, what do? They'll go and eat sugar. Chocolate, keep eating. That is not the form, the way to kill addiction. Bible says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer, thanksgiving, petition, bring your request to God. If somebody has upset you, don't go and drink Coke. Bible says, if your brother is against you, talk to your brother. If you have an exam, coming, don't go and start taking sugar. As a stress relief, it's going to damage you gradually. And I want to encourage us, to be mindful, be self-aware. It is very, very important. So how do you identify addiction? Are there behavioral signs you have at this time? Are there signs in your life that shows you that you're actually getting addicted? You know how you know there is a sign? It's just something you cannot do without. Or if that thing is taken away from you, how does that increase your blood pressure? Like if you can't find your phone, for example, what happens to you? If the lights goes off and there's a movie that's going to come, how do you respond? How do you respond when you see some people eating a particular kind of food and your body, you have craving, and you are sleeping, waking up in the middle of the night, going to the kitchen looking for sugar? So you need to look at your behavioral sign, the changes in your life, your emotional sign. Are you undergoing stress? You can cure stress without having to take substance. And there are also many elements in your body. Galatians 5 talks to us about the act of the sinful nature, but he also talked about the fruits of the Spirit: joy, patience, kindness, meekness, self-control. That is what you should be growing in. Proverbs chapter 25. All right, we're getting a feedback. Can the person mute, please? Thank you. Proverbs 25 talks about a person without self-control. It's like a city broken into and left without walls. Now, when we read Proverbs talk about the simple. When people say you are the simple, doesn't mean that you are very easygoing. It means you lack moral judgment. You cannot think straight. You cannot separate between wrong and right. So Ephesians 5 is a good scripture to actually read that emphasizes the fruit of the Holy Spirit. And that fruit includes self-control, self-regulation. I have the power to say no. I have the power to say yes. I have the power to say wait. I will say wait. I will say no. So sometimes we make a list and we call it to-do list. I must do this. I must do that. And that's okay. I have that one too. But I want us today to identify what is going to be in your stop doing list. What are the things that you must rather say, I must stop doing this? What are the things you must stop doing? Proverbs 25 verse 28 illustrates for us the power of self-control. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18 to 20 said, flee from sexual immorality. He said, every other sin somebody commits is outside the body, but he who sins sexually sins with his own body. Job 31 verse 1 said, I've made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. If you are struggling with pornography today, there is help. There is a brother in South Africa, a very good friend of mine, who has dedicated so many years of his life helping people in the purity ministry. I can link you up with him, very confidential, because that was where he's coming from. Purity, a battle with purity as a single man. Even as a married man, he battled with purity. Now God has helped him, and his blessing to the world is also use the things that he has learned to also help other people. And we have some people in our ministry in Lagos that are also linked up with him, and they are getting help. Bible says, flee. How do you flee? You run. Just like Joseph, you run away. Now, when you have anxiety, the Bible says, Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Not in smoking, not in pornography, not in doing things that are inimical to your body. If you say, but I don't have self-control. I've been trying. James chapter 1 verse 5 said, if any of you lacks wisdom, please ask God. This wisdom is not the one that they define as knowledge applied. No, that's not the wisdom. There is a one they call knowledge applied. That means you must know to apply. This wisdom is not the one that comes by age, or by experience. This is the one that comes straight from God. So godly wisdom is a miracle. It's a miracle. God gives you the wisdom. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 emphasizes the trust in the Lord's guidance. So seek wisdom. Trust in God. Don't trust in substances. Get help. Confess. Be open. Me, I had to learn the importance of seeking professional advice. It is not everything that, quote, discipling can cure. If you have headache, you won't go to a disciple, I have headache, whatever. If you have, cancer, you don't go to a disciple, I have cancer, whatever. So when people have addiction, you may have to seek professional help. Even sleep disorder. There's a young lady we converted one time on campus. She had eating disorder. She might just take a biscuit, one biscuit, broke it to half, and that's all she's going to eat. And she's like a stick until she was helped in that one. So there's the importance of seeking professional help. Stress can really destroy so many people. That was a disciple I got together with in my counseling session 2 weeks ago. And after we finished, the following week, he came to me and said, Brother Emmanuel, she slept for the first time 7 hours straight. She hadn't done that in a long time because she has an autoimmune disease. Right now, her body was so kind. She said, she slept and slept and slept. It was not whatever. I said, yes, because your body is coming down. And so what we did was have to activate her mind to now begin to talk to her body. And her body will now begin to respond the way the mind would. Sometimes anxiety can be because of fear. Exam fever. Poverty. They say the fear of poverty is the beginning of wisdom. Sometimes you are broke. You are very afraid. So all those things can actually stimulate fear in us, and it can begin to eat all of us up. But the truth is that there is help, and there is help in everything. Now, because of time, I will stop. I'm going to stop here. I want us to spend more time in Q&A. Okay, we're going to spend some quality time in doing Q&A. But I want to leave you with something practical. Okay, I want to leave you with something very practical, something you can do that you always remember at all times. Now, many years ago, I began to study about how habits are formed. How is habit formed? So some people will tell you that. Well, let's start with something like craving. A habit, you call it the habit loop. It just go boom, it just keep going around, a habit loop. So one is a cue. You're going to get a cue, a craving. It comes with a cue. Then something triggers you. It triggers your brain to want something. This thing happens to everybody. Sometimes you've eaten, you are full, but you want to eat more, and you now debauch. Sometimes people say, I can't, I've been trying to stop smoking. Oh, I can't hold myself. My body's shaking. It triggers it. Then from that loop now, when you do it, it now becomes a routine. That is now your action or behavior. From your routine, it now becomes because each time you do it, you get a reward. You get a slight reward. You are happy. It makes you fired up, whatever. And guess what? You do it again and again. Then you now become trapped. But here is how to free yourself. A very practical way to actually free yourself. The same way a habit is formed is the same way a habit is broken. You can form any habit using these 3 steps I'm going to share with you. You can also break any habit using these 3 steps. So how are habits formed? Habits are formed where there's an intersection. Okay, let's put it this way. An intersection between 1, knowledge, number 2, desire, and number 3, opportunity. Knowledge, desire, opportunity. Or you can even turn it the other way. You can say desire, opportunity, knowledge. You can turn it the other way. Opportunity, knowledge, desire. Oh man, that was taking my life, but it's all good. So that is how habits are formed every time. So number 1, let's take it from knowledge. If I have knowledge of playing soccer, that means I can play soccer. So I have the knowledge of playing soccer. Now, no matter the knowledge that I have about soccer, I know the whole rules. I know, how they score. I know the name of all the soccer players in the world, and I have the knowledge. But if I don't have the desire to play soccer, no matter the knowledge I have, I will not go and play soccer. Now, what if I have desire? I really feel like playing soccer. I want to play soccer. Man, I would die if I don't play soccer. But if I don't have the knowledge of how to play soccer, what will I do? I cannot play soccer. Now, what if you can even play soccer? You know how to play it. But number two, remember, is knowledge, desire, and opportunity. And there's nowhere to play soccer. You can't play soccer. Now, very close to my house in my new neighborhood, we have a sports center for the neighborhood where people go there to go and play soccer. There's a basketball court, there's a gym, there's volleyball. I think, yeah, volleyball. There's a lawn tennis. One, I don't know how to play lawn tennis. I have a desire to, but I don't have how to play lawn tennis. I don't have even the desire to play soccer. I can play basketball. I have the knowledge of basketball. I have the opportunity by how to play basketball, but I don't have the desire. So habits anywhere in the world are formed when these three things come together. Knowledge. If I don't know how to smoke, or I don't know that this thing you can put it in your mouth and suck it, I can't form a habit about it. I remember the very first time I put a cigarette, the only time actually I put a cigarette in my mouth. It was in the 80s. Okay, we're very young, and my mother used to have a shop, and that was the only time my mother sold cigarettes. As God will have it, rain fell, and there was a leak on the roof in her store, and the water was dropping on the display counter of the cigarette, and it actually soaked the cigarette. And when she came, she couldn't even want to sell cigarette anyway. You just have to go and pack everything, go and throw it away. So when we went to the packet to throw it away, that was when I now lit one. I was like, this thing that people smoke, in those days it was very popular. White SM, Marlboro, Benson and Hedges, Slim, all the whatever. I was like, this thing was very sweet, oh. So I took it, and I took a pull, and I began cover and I felt like throwing up. I was like, is this what people put in their mouth to smoke? Like that was the last time, in the 80s or whatever. So I do not have a desire for it. I have a knowledge they put in your mouth. I don't have a desire. I have opportunity. I can go and buy it. They sell cigarettes everywhere. So I have opportunity. I have knowledge, but the desire has been killed. So I can never form a habit of smoking. I can't form a smoke. What about the habit of technological addiction? If you have the desire to want to go online, to want to spend 20 hours on TikTok, on Facebook, on whatever, unaccounted for time, no matter the desire you have in your life, desire is there. Then you have a phone. It's the best smartphone in the world is there. But if there's no credit in that phone, nothing, you can't go online. So the same way you form a habit is the same way you break a habit. So if you want to break a habit, just remove one of these indices there. Remove one, you kill a habit. That's all. Just remove one indices. The most difficult one to remove is desire. And that is what that controls us, what to go and do. So just remove opportunity. If you are struggling with drunkenness and getting drunk, drunkenness is not people who drink. The aim of a drunk is to get drunk. That's the aim of a drunk. They want to be stupid. That is the drunkenness. Then don't go to anywhere they sell alcohol. Don't order it. Don't put it in your fridge. Don't, if you go, go to the party, tell them ahead. If I don't even go to party, you're going to do, because you want to help yourself. Yeah, somebody typed up NEPA. Hey, NEPA is back. Nigeria has changed, though. Nigeria has changed. Some of you that came for the School of Mission, you guys saw, things are changed in Nigeria. NEPA is constant. They only turn it off to go and check whether the wire, they clean the wire. After cleaning the wire, they put it on it. So the most difficult one to remove is there. Maybe you have a craving for chocolate. I know it is, your cholesterol is high, your blood pressure is high, whatever. And doctor said, stop taking this, it will kill you. But your desire no agree you. Make sure you don't have any loose money around you. Don't go to where they think, or don't go where they say whatever. Tell people around you that I want to stop taking sugar and chocolate. Let them be there, for you to actually help you. Knowledge is the easiest one to deal with. See no evil, hear no evil, smell no evil, do no evil. I don't want to know how they do it. Oh, they put it in their nose. I don't want to know. Oh, they will tie their hand. I don't want to know. Oh, it will make you feel nice. I don't want to know. Oh, just take a sip. It's called codeine. Oh, tramadol. You see, you'll be. I don't want to know. Learn to say no. And in everything, take it to God in prayer. The generation that we're living in right now, addiction is going to be, it's a major thing. Remember, it's not, addiction is not just one. Today we have taken a look at 4 types of addiction. We looked at substance addiction. We look at technology addiction. We look at pornography. We looked at negative lifestyle. So young people especially pick a very healthy lifestyle. Lifestyle like drinking at least a gallon of water a day. There's a brother that I used to disciple many years ago. And man, the problem was he came drunk. He used to drink, just drunk. So he stopped, came disciple. But after he got married and business would take in, he now began to hang out with the same old friends. Now he won't buy, but they will buy, they will buy for him. Bro, my friend, take this one, I want. Just like debauchery, people really don't always commit debauchery in their house. Debauchery is easier committed when you go to a party. Free food. Free. People don't go to house and let me buy 1 carton of drink I drink today. No, they go to where there is free. So this guy will go out, they will give him, he will drink. He will come home drunk. He will fall down in the gutter. It was so bad. This was years ago. And his wife was crying out. He has children now. And I called him, I said, bro, what is going on in your life? He said, I don't even know, whatever. He would drink 6 bottles, 12 bottles, a carton of beer. You know what I did one day? So I brought Eva water, this Ragolis Eva water. I said, bro, finish it. It's what 1.5 liters. He said, no, I can't. I said, bro, you can't finish 1.5, but you can drink a carton. Okay. I said, start drinking. Start drinking water. When you feel whatever, start drinking water. Then don't go to where they do this stuff. Then begin to meditate. Pray that God will squash the desire from your mind. And there are some things I have prayed prayers like that before. That God, please take this desire away, from me. See, today, I don't even know how that thing, whatever. One of them was when I was a young disciple. I was into rap. Unfortunately, in the 90s rap was off. Gangster rap, Ice Cube, Rum DMC, all of those three, MC Light, whatever. It was all about cursing, whatever. So all the rap songs I knew were curse word. So my 3rd date, I went as disciple. Interestingly, the sister then is living in the area I'm living now. So went on dates in Maryland. We were walking down to Anthony, and she was saying, "Oh, what kind of song do you like?" I said, rap song. She said she used to like rap song, and she raps Queen Latifah. I just came out right there, Fly Girl, and she rapped it. I said, what about your own? I said, I can't rap my own. He said, why? Say the kind of rap song I know shouldn't be coming out from somebody's mouth, whatever. Then I told her that even as I'm speaking right now, those songs are playing in my mind. And this sister told me, I know where we were. We were just getting to Anthony bus stop, and she told me, then tell it to stop. I was just 1 year as a disciple. Like, how do you do that? Less than 1 year. I was like, he said, tell it to stop. I said, you can just say, and I began to pray. I said, God, please let it to stop. Guys, I'm not kidding you. Right now, I don't even know the lyrics. Sometimes I try to remember. I don't even know the lyrics of these songs. Whatever. God took them away from my mind. And God can do the same thing for you. God can help you in your craving. God can empower you. That is the work of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit can empower you. Just ask him what you want. He can redirect your mind. He can even change your DNA if that's what you want. Some will say, oh, there's a DNA of drunkenness in somebody. There's a DNA. Some people have substance. The craving to do certain things in their DNA. It's like a genetics or something. You can say, God, you can change me today. I'm going to open my mouth, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to talk to people, and I'm going to seek help. People are going to hold me accountable, because this body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. It has no space for any substance going to control me. And it reduces the not just the experience, the value of yourself. Look around it. In the 80s, it was fun to smoke. Right now, who smokes? Even Nigeria, people smoke, but it's not like before. Even Nigeria has made a law that cigarette companies do not sponsor any show in Nigeria. They don't sponsor. Before it used to be Benson and Hedges, White SM, Marlboro, St. Maurice. They were all over Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the biggest, planters of tobacco in the world. The British American tobacco is right here in Nigeria. But the government had to put a law. There are no smoking areas in Nigeria. You can't smoke in any public place in Nigeria. So if the government that is not inspired by the Bible is saying that this thing is wrong, how much more you? And they'll put it in a cigarette pack. Right now, they'll put it, this pack can kill you. Smoking cigarette causes cancer. Even they put it right there on the something. So as you are buying, you are killing, you are killing yourself. If you kill yourself, that is called murder. Do you want to murder yourself? Why do you want to kill the body that God has given you to? Why do you want to ingest something that's going to control you? Let that be to the hands of the doctor. Only the doctors are the people that have the right to give you prescription drug. Don't go and be buying things, tramadol, this one, mix them together so I can feel cool. Watch out for the kind of party that you go to, the kind of friends that you go to. In Nigeria, they'll go to parties and say, do you want brownie? People don't know brownie. Brownie, they'll give you cake, but there is lots of drug inside it. There's Indian hemp. People have been raped. Students have been raped. People have been raped because they lost control. They get them drunk, they get them lose their mind, and they rape them at parties. Is that what you want? Some people have gotten pregnant, because of that. Some people who even do the raping have gotten diseases. So there's a lot that addiction can do to us. But the easiest addiction for us today is technological addiction. This one, man, laziness. Bible says that God will give accounts of our time. From the time you wake up, is your day account? Can you account for the minutes you spend? The minutes you spend on your phone, is it productive? Are you doing business on your phone? Are you doing network marketing or whatever? I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, I watch those YouTube video or whatever. I post on YouTube also. But what I post are things that will help you learn. And I think I posted like a reel, maybe once or twice. I've done reel. I just showing the highest point, points in whatever. I do that. But when you are a slave to something, it begins to control you. So today I ask you, whose slave are you? Interestingly, the day we became disciples, the difference between slavery in the world, Satan was taking us slaves. Satan was binding us with his chain. Satan was controlling us. But the day we turned to Christ, guess what? Christ removed the chains of bondage from us. But you know the interesting thing? What we now did was, willingly, we now put our hand forward and say, Christ, put your own chains on us. So now we now become slaves to righteousness. Everybody is a slave. Everybody, all of us are a slave. But whose slave are you? Have you been forced into slavery that you are regretting today? Or did you hand over your life, your body, your soul, your spirit to Christ? I say, Christ, I want to become your slave today. Wherever you are, you need to seek freedom. The Bible says that where the Spirit of God is, there is liberty. All of us with unveiled faces will reflect the glory of Jesus Christ. Today, I pray that no matter where you are at, no matter what you are struggling with, one, you'll be open and you're going to seek help. And nobody is going to stigmatize anybody. Nobody's going to laugh at anybody. Nobody's going to be shocked at anybody. All of us, we are going to get help because we are all in this together. And I say, to God be the glory. Thank you for inviting me. Maybe we'll have some little times, who knows, to take some Q&A.
Amen. Wow. Thank you so much. Can we give Mr. Emeh another round? For those of us who are online, you can show your clapping emojis.
I can't hear you. I think you are muted. My sister, you are muted. So
we have some few minutes.
I know you are speaking, but you are muted.
If you have...
You are still muted. Mr. Parry, can you please unmute?
Hello, can you hear me?
For her.
We can
Hello?
hear her. I can hear her.
Okay, great. We have some few minutes for questions. So for those online, you can, I think there are a few questions that came in the chat box. So that can be assessed. And also for those of us who are here, if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can also let me know. I'll just ask Mr. Emeh. Any questions? Okay, so we have a question here for those of us who are in Mr. Dass's precedence. Please come forward. You have to use this. You have to use this.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you, Stemme, for that wonderful presentation. So we look at, 4 different kind of addictions. But as you were presenting, one thing I noticed or I observed is technology addiction. We are all young here, and one thing that most of us, I believe, majority are addicted to is technology addiction. Sometimes you say you pick your phone and you want to check what is going on.